Hello and welcome to Gold Insight Russia. My name is Rod Mackenzie. Now, as most of you are aware, if you're interested in gold, that Russia is the second largest gold producing country in the world, just behind China, which is the largest. So today I want to talk about Russia's largest gold mining company and one of the largest gold mining projects undertaken in Russia, which is also the one of the largest currently undeveloped deposits anywhere in the world. I'm talking about Sukhoi Log and Polyus Gold. Now, Polyus is aiming to be a major player in the world's top three, so it's implementing currently three gold mining projects in the Irkutsk region and in Kharkiv Krai, which will then establish it as one of the world's top three gold producers. Now, the company plans to invest over $6 billion in the Irkutsk Sukhoi Log project. Now, taking into account the other two projects, Russia's largest gold miner is going to invest approximately $7.6 billion by 2030. Now, it was recently announced that Polyus plans to invest $6 billion in the Sukhoi Log project. Now, around $1.5 billion of this amount, dollars of this, will be allocated to the construction of a new gold extraction plant, as well as into materials and equipment. The plant will have an annual capacity of 34 million tonnes of ore and produce between 2.3 and 2.8 million ounces of gold annually. Further, $1.08 billion will be spent on creating and developing the modern infrastructure, including expanding the Taximo logistics complex, building roads, warehouses, power lines and water treatment systems. Almost $1 billion will be required for the quarry itself and the so-called tailings storage facility. Now, this includes a dam, a pulp pipeline, a water drainage system and a full drainage station. Additionally, the company is allocating approximately $900 million to support the project through its various stages, including design, procurement, construction and the pre-operational testing. Now, Polyus management did not actually disclose the source of this $6.8 billion investment, but I personally think that VEB and the National Welfare Fund of Russia are involved, giving the gold-plated investment status of the project. Now, at a briefing for investors, Polyus Vice President for Economics, Finance and Strategy, Peter Prokuda, stated that the company is currently considering a number of project financing options with a different ratio of equity participation plus borrowed funds. Now, with the successful development of the Sukhoi Log deposit, Polyus intends to almost double its annual gold production. Now, at its peak, this could exceed 5 million ounces per year, making Polyus one of the leaders in precious metals production in the world. Now, the Sukhoi Log deposit is located in the Bodaibo district of the Irkutsk region, and it's considered one of the world's largest undeveloped deposits. Now, according to current data, its reserves amount to 43.5 million ounces or 1,233 tonnes of gold. Now, geologists discovered Sukhoi Log back in 1961, but there's been no immediate rush to start working there, mainly due to the lack of its necessary infrastructure. There may have been other reasons too. In total, Russian and Soviet specialist institutes examined several dozen technological samples of the ore and issued over 25 different reports and feasibility studies. Now, according to Viktor Glushko, the managing director of the Polyus project, the current feasibility study for the Sukhoi Log project differs quite dramatically from the preliminary study compiled in 2021. Now, the data presented shows that the Sukhoi Log deposit reserves, calculated in accordance with JORC code, which is the Australasian code for reporting exploration results, mineral resources and ore reserves, increased from 40 million to 43.5 million ounces of gold by the end of December last year. However, that's not all. While the average ore content in the previous report was 2.3 grams per tonne, in the current feasibility study. It's now fairly wide and it ranges between 2.3 and 2.8 grams per tonne for the first 10 years of operation, excluding the launch year. Now, according to Polyus CEO Alexei Vostokov, this is an excellent indicator since the world average for new deposits is just 1.3 grams per tonne. Now, the deadlines for commissioning the project have also changed. They are now at 2028 to 2029, whereas the previous estimate was 2027. Currently, pilot industrial operation of the Sukhoi Log deposit have already begun. Plus, the first tonne of gold was obtained at the deposit in October. However, the precious metal was extracted from ore delivered to the neighbouring Verninskaya gold recovery plant. Otherwise, the key parameters of the project have remained virtually unchanged. Now, the plan is to construct one building and two production lines. However, the emphasis is now on the use of domestically made Russian equipment, as well as machinery and equipment from other friendly countries, rather than the previously proposed Western equipment. Now, according to Glushko, Sukhoi Log is expected to implement the gravity flotation enrichment system that was tested at the Verninskaya gold recovery plant. In practice, this means that the company has had to revise the type of equipment used in a number of cases, increasing its quantity in the new layout. Thus, the number of gravity concentrators has almost doubled. Additionally, 9 excavators with 30 metre squared buckets have been chosen over 6 excavators with 50 square metre buckets. The changes have also been made to the dump truck fleet. While it was initially planned to use 60 vehicles with a carrying capacity of 300 tonnes, the new plan involves up to 110 vehicles with a lifting capacity of 220 tonnes each. Overall, said Glushko, despite the need to revise the equipment use and the reduced unit capacity in terms of nomenclature, we have managed to maintain the total processing capacity at the originally planned level of 34 million tonnes per year. Now, in addition to Sukhoi Log, Polyus plans to open 2 more gold mines by the end of the decade. They're the Chartovo Karito and the Cholbaktan. Now, the former is located near the Varinsky Gok and, according to JOC, has reserves of 3.1 million ounces with a gold con of 1.5 grams per tonne, and it's expected to produce 300,000 ounces per year. Capital expenditure into that project will be approximately $1 billion. Now, the second deposit is located in the Karbovos territory, where the capital investments are estimated to be $600 million to $800 million. Now, the probable gold reserves amount to 3 million ounces, with an average gold content of 1.6 grams per tonne. Now, when developing these deposits, including Sukhoi Log, Polyus can now take advantage of the regional tax incentives for income tax and mineral extraction tax payments. That's going to increase the efficiency and the profitability of the projects. However, it should be noted that Polyus is going to need to attract $7.6 billion in total to implement all these projects. That said, at current gold prices and the cost level of the main assets, the company's EBITDA profitability is more than 70%, according to Boris Krasnos-Henov, who's head of securities analysis at Alpha Bank. If Polyus maintains production levels at the existing assets, the implementation of the new projects could allow Polyus to double its gold production by 2030. Now, if this occurs, Polyus will then become one of the world's top 3 gold producers. Anyway, that's what's happening with Polyus and Sukhoi Log. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and do post comments, as I love to read them, and I do know a fair bit about the Russian gold sector, so if you have any questions, do send them in. Thank you. Speak to you soon.